It's such a sight to see how much technology has changed in my 30 years of life so far. Things are a little different in my generation. A lot of children now are extremely dependent on gadgets, movies, playing games, and just being around something with a screen. Back when I was little, there was something that was rarely thought about. I was more upset to have to come inside because it was time for dinner rather than being upset because my tablet or electronic was taken away. In a way, technology has ruined our future generations, and I think it has a lot to do with the social awkwardness and lack of social skills in our kids today. I don't really have any early memories of being on a phone or playing video games. When I was little, having a radio was a given. And the same goes for having like a Walkman to play CDs. I was that kid that would record the radio, make it my ringtone, that type of weird stuff. But anyway, having that CD player was probably my best friend though for quite some years. But I believe the first technology toy that I had would have to be my Sega Genesis. It's a video game console, if any of you guys are not familiar. It was very fun to play with friends and my cousins. I used to come over for sleepovers and all that. I didn't find myself playing this alone, though. I always wanted to play with someone or play against someone, so I still believe that I had some social interaction, whereas the games today, there's a lot of single player or playing online, which to me doesn't consider to be a social outing. This was a good way for us to have fun if it happened to be raining or cold outside, though. This is definitely something that we did if we were unable to go outside. But being outside was definitely our first priority. After having my first video game console, my mom bought me my first phone when I was in the 6th grade. The only reason she bought it was because I walked home from school, and she was worried about safety or if an emergency happened. Just because I had a phone, at that time I rarely used it. And that could be because hardly anyone had one. And because I couldn't use it either because it was just incredibly expensive to send a text message, to get a text message. Maybe a phone call had to be after 9 p.m., that type of thing. Nothing that was plugged into a wall had my interest until the internet. That's when I think things changed for me. This changed the whole game for me. In essence, the internet was way too entertaining that it made me incredibly lazy because it was that entertaining. I now have no desire to leave the house because everything I wanted to look at or anything I wanted to play was all at my fingertips as a child. So what is the point? The internet boom had a big impact on me and everyone else, I think. This brought on the chat rooms, the start of Instant Messenger, and the start of social media, and also the start of instant gratification. You had all information you needed in 5 seconds. I was an only child to a mom that made decent money, so I was able to get all the fun new gadgets that came out quite frequently. The best thing I ever received was when I was little was my first desktop computer. It was an Apple with the pink see-through back. I thought I was the most special kid in like the whole world. Everyone wanted to come over and play it. I know my mom spent quite some money on buying this for me. I didn't think I ever really did anything on the computer. I just like clicking buttons and sitting in front of it besides playing games. I used to play Oregon Trail, and I used to play games like Pong and Pinball and that type of thing on the computer, but nothing really ever productive because it wasn't needed for school when I was a little girl. All my friends and family that came over thought it was the coolest thing ever too, which of course as a kid you just feel like, oh. At this time, we didn't really understand what the internet really was. We just liked playing games that no one really had because no one really had a computer. This was the start of me not being as social with my mom and telling her to quit bothering me and wanting to spend some time with me because I was busy. Looking back at it now, it hurts me because I know I have hurt my mom's feelings during that time. About a year and a half after this, when PlayStation came out, my mom and I were able to bond over that quite frequently. So that was nice. It really only bothered me because she was better than me and was able to be at certain levels that I was not able to. Technology has been a huge problem with the world today, but it also has done some amazing things to help the world that we live in. I use technology in my everyday life at work as well as my home life. Without research and technology, the children I help wouldn't be able to do anything they're able to do now. I work with autistic children, and so much has been learned about them in the last decade or so. If it wasn't for technologies and research, these children would be stuck in a place with no way out. Because of technology, we're able to reach out to other countries and doctors and voice ideas back and forth and just bouncing ideas back and forth to try and figure out what's best for these kids. We are able to have a video conference with doctors in other countries because we all know there's nothing like face-to-face contact, so the next best thing to me would be a video chat instead of an email or instant message. I'm constantly on the computer during my workday. If it wasn't for a computer and internet, I wouldn't be able to afford any of my job duties. Nothing. The computer and internet is how I generate authorizations for my children at work. If I didn't have these two items, no child I serve would be able to receive behavioral therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and feeding therapy. I am extremely lucky to have a job that impacts so many children and their families, but in reality, we need to thank technology for all the advancements and new findings regarding autism. We have so many people trying to find the cause and cure for it, and all of it would be impossible without these resources that we have today. In my personal life, I'm on my phone checking Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat on a daily basis, and I think anybody my age kind of does the same thing. I also use my computer on occasion when doing homework, like I am now. I try to stay away from it when I'm home and enjoy the presence of my family. I do admit that every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is check my phone. It could happen this way also because I do use my phone as an alarm clock, so maybe that does have something to do with it, but still, it's pretty bad, and I shouldn't do that. The future of technology is looking bright, though. We are always coming up with new cool ideas and things to try. We are already putting chips in people, which I thought was interesting and crazy. There's, I believe, 2 companies now that are chipping their employees. We also have machines that read people's minds and say the words that they're thinking. We also have robots that are able to sense emotion and comfort someone. I believe in the future we aren't even going to have to speak. Our brainwaves will do all the talking, and all we have to do is sit and be silent. It's bad enough that I have to text everyone because no one will pick up the phone if I try and call them. It's only going to get worse. I think we'll finally be having holograms for everything. There are some occasional devices that use them currently, but I believe that all phones will have the capabilities to do so. And I think it'd be pretty cool, but it's still some type of technology that's like, do we really need that? I do believe that televisions will have holograms as well. Well, we all will be able to watch 3D movies, which I think would be kind of cool, especially like a scary movie or one that like has a lot of action. I think it would be really cool to feel like you're in the movie. I think the biggest thing to worry about is artificial intelligence. It scares me more than anything. Like, it seems super cool and exciting, but I think people forget that machines and computers can malfunction. What if we have a robot doing things for us around the house and they decide not to one day and get angry? It's possible. I only say this because we already invented robots who feel a sense of sadness or who also can feel happiness. So it makes anything think that they can never get angry. Thanks for watching.